Hi everyone, I'm actually just testing out this live thing. And I think I'm live now, which is pretty cool. Anyway, this is a test of my first live talking about all these things that I usually just do a pre-recorded video. And I'm testing it out because I have quite a few requests to start doing a live. So you can ask your questions and you can probably filter what's been said, or you can probably learn from somebody else's question. Yeah. But anyway, what was actually on my mind that I wanted to just stream really quickly today, instead of doing a pre-recorded video, I wanted to talk about the sessions I had today. Was pretty exciting, and I wanted to just take a few minutes to speak about this. And if anyone pops in and has any questions, well, I'll go from there. But I have found this week in particular has been a lot about the feminine archetype, which is kind of amazing to me, right? And I wanted to talk about it because I've found that there are many people who are mirroring their lives and mirroring their, let's say, purpose-driven agenda from many things that really don't match you, right? But before I get into that, I want to touch bases on a question that was asked. And I think the best way to do it is I'm going to read chapter 2 from my book. And chapter 2 says, the faces of God we overlook. Now remember, this is not a religious book. However, the angels want us to consider the convolution that we have created with the name God. And there are many people who are not religious, does not have anything to do with that archetype. And what I believe they're trying to do is break those walls down to ensure that there's nothing particular as far as ownership attached to a God consciousness or creator or universe or whatever you want to call it. Do you understand? And many people, as soon as you say the word God, it kind of makes them pull their backs up. They shrink their energies because they're waiting for you to start to judge, because you judge a lot. Yeah. So this is my first live video talking about this, and I'm just testing it out. We'll do it every week. It's not a rush. I'm just getting my scruples together. Yeah. Hi, I just finished watching one of your videos. I'm happy to catch you live. Listen, this is my test live, Antoinette. So pretty cool. Hi. It's a test live for me to figure out if I can answer questions for everyone who's in my inbox and just really seriously have questions. The reason why I'm here is I had some really interesting and exciting sessions today with some beautiful beings. And I found out that their issues, or what they thought were their issues, mirrors many of the questions that are under my videos, yeah? And I wanted to come here to talk about it because without booking a session, you probably get your answer here, right? And I love the idea of it. So for some reason, Mother Mary comes through a lot now, which I've never really channeled Mother Mary, that archetype, before. But now, especially when I'm sitting across from a woman, Mother Mary comes in now. And you know what she did to me today? I was having a session with this beautiful human being, and she's sitting across from me, and I had no idea. I don't know anything about her history. She's just on my screen. And while I'm talking to her, I'm picking up her energy. And all of a sudden, I sensed the essence of Mother Mary. I started to question it, like, Mother Mary, why is Mother Mary here? Here's the joke and the paradigm in this. So I started to tell her what Mother Mary is saying, and immediate Mother Mary came through and said, straighten your back. And literally, my whole being straightened up. I felt as if my mother came in the room and I was doing something bad. And she had the most profound message for this lady. We were in tears. And do you know what happened at the end of that session? By the time I was finished and Mother Mary was done with her message to her, you know what she said to me? Which is why I'm here, because I want to tell you about your divine connection with all and all, creator, God, universe. She said that she asked before the session with me that she would really like to have a connection with Mother Mary, because she had these questions in her mind about feminine energy, what's happening with women worldwide, and all these things that are happening now. I didn't know that. So when she said that to me, I almost fell off this chair, because I was like, you're the one who called it in. Spirit set us up. Because I normally wouldn't expect a Mother Mary to step in. However, what that did was confirm for her that when she whispered a prayer, SOS call goes out. Her guides, our angels, are listening to her. And today they responded exactly from the archetype that she wanted to hear from, with what she says is the exact message she wanted. And that for me was absolutely awesome. So the message overall was very personal to her, but it was more telling her, straighten your back. You have shrinked your energy too much by trying to fit into the paradigm of something that no longer suits you. So Mother Mary was very stern to her, telling her, okay, she's now almost split in half. It's as if she's trying to make a decision. She's coming from Christian faith. However, she has had these out-of-body experiences that she was afraid to talk about before. And now her guides are here and they're opening up so much more to her. However, the first thing that usually happens when you're having an awakening is the people around you start to judge you and you feel it. So this is what was happening to this individual. She didn't know what to do with it, and she didn't tell me, but Mother Mary came through with the message. She says, why are you shrinking your spirit, shrinking your light, shrinking your energy? And then my arms went up like this as she said, open your light. Open up your energy field and stop shrinking your energy, because when you do that, and I found this interesting, and this might resonate with somebody. You see, when you're on this journey, this earth journey, no matter what you face, things that happen actually through you and not to you. But we have this memory bank up here, which is actually our alarm clock. And I found that interesting too, when the angel said, your mind is not something for you to try to get rid of. Your ego, all the thoughts that are going on here, it really is your alarm that you put up to protect you. So I'll get back to that. But anyway, what she was trying to say is, now that you have graduated from believing in God to knowing God, and when an angel or an archetype or an ascended being says knowing God, it's not just, oh, it's in this book and I read it and I'm sure it's right. Because when you believe something, you believe it as long as you need to, until something else is written, said, or proven to be otherwise. And then you start to doubt your belief. When you get to know God, it's beyond a reasonable doubt. For me, it was mostly my grandmother, who passed away when I was very young. And I used to have these experiences with my grandmother. And I couldn't talk about it a whole lot, because I found out when I would talk about my connections with my grandmother, who had passed away, I would get the side eye. And my family or anyone I say it to would say, yes, man. Yeah, but you eat too late last night. That's a Jamaican coming out, yeah? So that used to happen to me. And then I thought, hey, I'm doing something wrong. Yes, I'm going to share it out because I'm telling all my Jamaican people about you. Well, listen, a year ago, I would have been scared, because I would say to myself, them are going to lock me out of Jamaica. But right now, Anthony, I have absolutely no fear. I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. And a lot of people in Jamaica know this, have out-of-body experiences, but they're afraid to talk because of our religion, our culture. So it's fine, all right? All right, and peace and love to you. And thank you so much for checking into this first live. But anyway, I used to have these experiences with my grandmother. And I used to dream her a lot. But then I found out, boy, I can't talk about this. I couldn't talk about this. Why? Because I would start to feel, then when I spoke about it, I was being judged, one. And they were also fearful, because most religions, they believe that the living has nothing to do with the dead. So either your grandmother or your loved one, who you love so much within the physicality, when they change forms, you are now being told that you are connecting with a devil archetype. And you shrink your being, you shrink your light, and you don't allow yourself to expand into it. So that was my experience. However, I found that beyond a reasonable doubt, My grandmother validated for me saving my father from a heart attack years and years and years ago. And it was her who gave me the dream. I knew about it. I called him. I said, something's going to go wrong, blah, blah, blah. Nobody listened to me. However, when he finally went to the hospital and they looked at him and they said, you know what? They would give him painkiller and said to send him home. And when he came out, I said to my mom, he has to stay. Something's going to go wrong. And within an hour sitting outside, my dad just went slumped in my arm and my grandmother was just there, appeared. And I said to her, he's going to be okay. He had a heart attack. If I had left that hospital that night or not listened or trusted that voice beyond a reasonable doubt to say, listen, he needs to go to the hospital, he would have passed on. However, it wasn't his time. And I have so many stories of my grandmother who saved me, my own children, my family, and deflected us from so many things over the years, but still I had to keep quiet about it because people around me weren't comfortable. So here's what came out of the readings today. My story mirrored so many of these beautiful beings who were sitting across from me in the screens. And they also had this archetype, this issue, this thing that happened to them that they know is true to them. However, their lives are in upheaval because they're losing their family members, they're losing their loved ones. Their life is completely being smashed apart, and they only see it one way. And what the angels did today is come through for these beautiful beings and showed them a new perspective. There's one lady I spoke to, and her story mirrored mine so much. However, 3 angels came through for her, which I did not expect. And when the first angel came through, he said, I'm coming through with healing for you. And I noticed that she was being affected by it, but I didn't know why. But I just kept going, kept going, kept going. And then she said, you know, I called in this guide and I wanted to be connected to this guide. I was like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden, another guide came in, Archangel Michael, and he asked her certain questions which are personal. However, she told me that she's given me permission to publish this session with her because she thinks that it's going to help so many people. And I guarantee I know it will. However, I'm waiting for the right time or the right mind space to do it because I want to edit it to show certain parts and still preserve certain parts personal to her. But for some reason, this angel just stepped through and directed her to one particular age in her life. This woman is a full-blown adult, quite okay, and she booked this session in her mind for a completely different reason. And Archangel Michael directed her to a particular age in her life, and he said to her, visualize yourself. What are you doing? How do you feel? And he kept going. And he took her through a phase in her life at age where she was that changed the trajectory of her life that she didn't remember about. These are the things we're talking about. We have to be unearthing the things that affected us. For me, it was between age 12 and 13 that I placed this beautiful Persian rug over and I lived my life. And after I had my NDE, my guides took me through this horrific phase of facing myself and ripping that Persian rug up and facing that 13-year-old me and actually just simply saying, I love you. You are safe. You deserve. And it was a ripping of a cord. Yes, it was a ripping of a cord, not from my inner child, but from that situation that happened. It was a ripping of a cord from that trauma that happened because I grew up as an adult, always trying to be the first in everything, very successful in everything. And I was walking on this Persian rug that I placed over a scene in my life that had the most horrific trauma that I did not talk about. But what the angels showed me and what they showed these beautiful women today is, over the years, what you have done with this trauma was not bury it because you didn't deal with it. You severed your ties with your inner child. For this woman today, it was her 13-year-old self. For the other lady, it was her 5-year-old self. And they're looking at me like, I didn't even think of that age. But when the angels took them to that particular age, which I would obviously know nothing about, all of a sudden it just felt as if the layers were being literally torn off of them. And she found healing with it because they took each one of the people that I spoke to today through different modalities of healing, which I found very interesting, depending on their soul growth and probably their openness to perceive what they needed. But I found it very interesting. However, many of us are walking out here and we feel distracted. We feel anxious. Our bodies just are breaking down, and we don't realize that it's the trauma, it's the pain, it's the hate, it's everything that has happened to us that left an imprint right here in your brain bank that says, I'm not safe, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough. And this thing that happens, it literally remains there and it becomes real. And no matter how much you live your life, at a point you stop, even if you have everything tangible that you say, oh, this is success. I am in the creme de la creme of life. However, you feel empty inside because there's something that you need to rip out and get rid of. You need to face it. And you also need to reconnect this tie to your inner child. And when this happened to one of my particular clients today, she asks, what was the significance? Because she's thinking the ego is something you need to get rid of. And if something happens to your inner child, why do you need to connect to it? And one of the angels came through, and what they said I thought was very interesting. And this might help somebody. Do you see, if you want to understand what it is to live life the way you really should live it within balance, observe a child. Observe a child, let's say 2-3 years old, they're just starting to walk or they're already walking and they're exploring the world. They don't have any worries about the bills that need to be paid, if I'm doing things on time, if I'm successful the way I need to be, all these things, these paradigms. They're not worried about these things. They're actually just at play. And the angels say, we forget how to be at play as adults because life happens. And we're always at the stoplight in our brains. It's always in a traffic jam. It's always busy. And you're always agitating. I have to get to work. I have to get to work. What are they doing? And your heart lays dormant. Your heart is here and it's whispering to you, it's okay. Pause. It's okay. Allow. It's okay. Breathe. Do you hear it? You can't hear it because you're always up here. Now, for the person who sat across me today, who really was an absolute skeptic, who really didn't think anything can come from this, when you ask the question, yeah, what are you talking about? How do I get out of my brain? It's not about getting rid of this. It's about understanding the constructs of everything that you've believed over time. The experiences that you've witnessed as a child, and you witnessed something happening, and you made a valid imprint here. Oh my gosh, if I do that, that's what's going to happen to me. I don't deserve to do that. Within this family, we have to struggle to make money. Gosh, within this family, I have to be a lawyer. Everybody's been a lawyer. If I don't do it, I'm going to be a disappointment. I was abused and nobody believed me, and I'm not deserving and I'm not safe, and I need somebody to love me, so I will settle. You see, all these things that I just mentioned, plus more, you imprinted here. Now, how the angels explain the ego is this. It's your alarm system. Many people, you go almost bonkers because you're thinking to yourself, I need to get rid of my ego. It's too busy. It's too loud. No, you need only to train it to understand that now I'm graduating. I now know I don't believe anymore what may never happen. I'm starting to feel and listen to my heart. So all these things that I placed there that allowed you to put this alarm up, and every time I'm so close to something that's really good for me to step out of this paradigm, for me to grow up, something physically or tangibly happens. that's going to distract me to say, no, no, no. The alarm goes off and it says, it's not safe. You can't do that. Spirituality? I don't know about spirituality. What are you talking about? That must be a devil archetype. This is safe. The text is safe. This is a safe space. I don't want to do it. That's your alarm system. And when they explained that to that particular client, I kind of sat back for a moment and I thought to myself, very interesting take on this. And I didn't quite understand how to deal with it until he went to the next phase. And the thing is, when that happens to you, what you need to do is start to feel into your energetic body. You're not separate, but your spirit first, which means your energy. The angels will tell you that you're light. They'll say, you're light, you're love, which is true. So if you understand the paradigms of that, you will know that each time you look in the mirror and unconsciously you say to yourself, you just failed that lot. It's just not going to work out. I just knew it was going to be a bad day. I just knew that was not going to work out. Why couldn't I just get long curly hair? As simple as that. What they showed us today was each time you say that, even if it's unconscious, your body traps the energy of it. And it holds it, and it holds it, and it festers. And the reason why most of us feel our bodies literally draining is because our body is saying, listen, these things that you've held onto, these belief systems that you call anxiety, that you say, I can't deal with this, I really need to shed these now. Because the true essence of who you are is light, which means if you could just get out of your head a little bit, you would start to get directions from your heart. And that's a sacred space to get to, where you know you have a decision to make and you can pause and allow for a moment. And you can pause and literally ask yourself, is this the right decision for me? And you train your energetic body so in tune with you that you feel a rush flow through your being as a yes. And when you are in situations with people who are draining your energy, you find out that you literally feel the energy draining from your being. And we want to put a diagnosis on it. And the angel said, that's your energy body sending you a signal. That's your internal GPS. That's your alarm system. I found that pretty interesting because so many times I've been guided this way by just have this knowing this. Before my phone rings, I just have this feeling within me. I feel the energy depleting. And when my phone rings and I look and I was like, yeah, I'm definitely not answering that call. And we don't listen to our internal GPS all the time. And the main thing they say is, don't judge yourself if you don't. It's an expansion and an exploration. It's an exciting journey. Just catch yourself and allow yourself to remain in balance. In balance means, do I choose to give love to me today, or do I choose to withhold it? Which one do I want to do? And if you stand with your back straight or sit with your back straight like this and just visualize, give love, withhold love. And you straighten your back like the Mother Mary archetype would do. And you just think anything to yourself. I'm not good enough. Say it to yourself, I'm not good enough. Close your eyes, breathe, say, I'm not good enough. And you literally feel your body telling you you're getting out of alignment. You start drifting to the left, seriously. And you start to feed yourself with positivity and love. And you say, I love you. You deserve. I love you. And you feel yourself drifting to the right. It's as simple as that. I know it's going to be hard to many of you. I know I just lost everybody who's listening because you're saying, that's not possible, but it is. It is when you train your mind to listen. Trust me. I'm now going to listen to this heart of mine. Do you understand? So today was beautiful. In order for, I think, for anyone to understand this beautiful being who offered for me to share her session, I think that's going to be a cool caveat for you to kind of look at this beautiful being and mirror her with yourself and say, oh my gosh, that's similar to what I'm going through. Because Mary Magdalene came through for one of my clients today. And when Mary came through, she came through with this really strong feminine energy. But her message was simple. She said, many women on this planet right now is walking into the Mary Magdalene. And it's because you just don't know what she represented. She was the equally yoked one for Yeshua. And many people, I just lost you there too. Because today I found out a lot about Mary Magdalene just from that simple session that I did not know. But she comes with this strong presence of unity, of oneness. And the main message she brought through was from that time, there was already this plan to diminish the feminine energy. And they really, really, really were successful for years. They really got it done so well that women really believe that we cannot stand with our back straight. We really believe that our voice don't matter. We really believe that we are not the creators and the nurturers of this land. We really believe that we are not equally yoked and deserving of love of ourselves first. And she brought through a message for that beautiful human being today. I cried because I had to look at myself in the mirror and remember each time I've looked at myself and thought that I should look like the reflection of what society was saying I should look like. I had to sit today while Mary Magdalene was speaking to this being and actually hear her speaking to me too. And all of you other women, and not only women, because she also said, the feminine energy is not only for what we perceive as women. Everybody has feminine and masculine energy. The problem is, over the years, we have been told that the feminine energy is weak. It is too emotional, it's too fragile. And she literally came out today and straightened our business and said, listen, this is a time, the uprising of the Christ consciousness. Stop waiting to see God or Yeshua on a mountain giving the gospel. God has been waiting on you. This is why you have this urgency within you. Oh my gosh, I need to give service. I don't know what it is, but I have to change something. I want to give something of myself. You want to give of your Christ consciousness. That's the consciousness that's in now. And it's amazing because it makes you feel powerful, divine. And you don't know why, because chances are you're sitting in a slum and you're saying, why is it I feel as if I'm a queen? It's because you are. And that's an archetype that's been awakened in you. And one other subject I had today, she chose on a soul level to be where she is. Because she decided, I just want to be like a thorn in the garden. And when the time comes, which her time is now, without me knowing, the angel said to her, don't you realize that now you're blossoming? However, you're not only blossoming, and the arms went out like this to say your light is expanding. That is why the people around you that you thought had your back all of a sudden are separating. Not because they need to go, it's because you chose this time, because now is the time for you to expand your light. You've been a thorn too long. And it was amazing. And she just like, how do you know that? I have no idea what I'm telling her. However, the message that she needed to hear, she got. And I look at it and I'm thinking to myself, how many women out there have been shrinking? Not only women, humans. But I know why I say women, because I think it's mostly women. Why have you been shrinking your light? And because you've decided to shrink your light because, oh, I want to stay in line. I want my family to stay in line. I want them to understand that I'm following the rules and the guidelines exactly the way it is. And your heart is whispering to you, yeah, but I want more. There's more. You deserve more. You're settling. We shouldn't be settlers. We really want more. This is what's going on now. And it's pretty exciting. It's exciting. And at the same time, it's scary because you don't know what's happening. You have this feeling and everything feels as if it's just going all over the place. And you are in this anxious state. And they're saying the dark place that you're in now, and I don't like using the word you chose, but the dark place that you're in now, you're there because at soul level you decided This is where I want to be, because I am going to shine the light through this space, through this disease, through this relationship, through this family. I'm breaking the curses of this family. There's another beautiful human being I sat with last night, and she had a loved one who came through. I didn't know this whole story, but she is this container of love on a soul level, and she chose to take care of her mother, and it was just so beautiful, but at the same time, it's a lot. Do you know what I mean? And her mother came through and showed her how well she's doing on the other side, and she's still sweeping on the other side, and it's just so lovely. However, she said to her, listen, yes, I used to say, oh my gosh, I feel so bad, I feel so guilty, because he had to give up everything to take care of me those many last years of my life. But know that where I am now, I'm in a safe space. And the reason why we chose this on a soul level is because what you experienced with me, nurturing me for those years, prepared you for what you're going into now. And she just laughed out, because it seemed as if many things that happen in your life, you say, I can't deal with this now. You're being prepared. You need to pick up that skill there, and that skill over there, and that heartbreak over there, because where you're being taken, you need all those attributes to stand firm in your mastery. You know what I mean? And that's what I see coming through a lot. And many women and many people who are sitting in front of me, they realize not something new. They realize that they have a confirmation of the path that they were going, that they doubted. This new business that you wanted to start, and your guys are saying to you, well, what are you waiting for? Why are you sending these octopus arms out? Choose one, the one that excites you now, because it is already created for you. Don't you see? You know what I mean? And there's one other thing they were talking about, the brain, when you're so busy in your mind. There's this beautiful soul who, her family member who she wants to reach out to so much, says, you know how long I've been trying to reach out to you? Quite a while. You miss it every time because you're still in the grief. And the grief is very important. Don't let anybody tell you shouldn't grieve. Because your body has no place to put the energy of grief, pain, bitterness. You need to let it out. Scream. And I love the idea of just letting it out. Letting your body know, you know, this low feeling that I have with this person that I used to have, hearing the physicality, I really need it to go. And, you know, practice, people call it tapping, but allow your body to know, yeah, I don't want it trapped here. Let it go, and cry and scream and cry. Do whatever you need to do. However, the angel said, while you're doing that, learn to pause also and allow. So you can hear and see the subtle nudges of your loved one saying, hey, I'm good. Hey, I'm a part of your spirit team now. Hey, let's play. And when the let's play come out, you know what? Show me a butterfly. I want to see a yellow butterfly. You remember that butterfly you always loved? And you start to play, and you will miss it if you're always in your head worried about, oh my gosh, the way they died. Oh my gosh. Because the angels say the soul exits the body before this trauma comes. So instead of thinking about all those things that keeps you so heavy and blinded so you can see, hear, or perceive them. One of them, the member said, I tried so hard, because she has a pet in the house. And she was telling her about the situation and what the pet did. And she said, oh my gosh, but I wasn't paying attention. And her loved one said, but that was me. And when you went out the other day and there was this child in the stroller and you were right in thought and I said, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I blame myself. And the child did this, just thumbs up. That was me. And when you were in the park and the butterfly wouldn't leave you alone and you were so lost in the thought, that was me. Isn't that amazing? So we miss so many subtle signs. This life is just so expansive. It's so exciting. At the same time, I understand the humanness of it makes it challenging. But be careful of the words that you use. Don't say hard. I've learned that in the past couple of months not to use the word hard. Because when you say hard, it becomes harder and harder. Digress from that word and start to say challenging, because challenging has a frequency of excitement and mystery to it. Oh my gosh, it's challenging. Okay, you have an expectation that it may get better, and it does. Do you understand? I don't know how long I want to be on here. I think I want to go, but I really wanted to come to talk about these things that happened today. And I wanted to test out this live. I will be doing a live every single week. Why? Because not everybody is going to be able to sit across the screen from me, and I don't want to miss anybody. The reason why is I have proof by sitting across the screen from so many of these beautiful beings these past couple of weeks that healing really is possible to occur when you're ready to heal you, when you're ready to face it and rip that Persian rug away from that trauma, that pain, that thing that happened that you have not faced and you thought you got over. That's holding you back now and trapped in your body and giving you the ulcers and all these things that are, it's just your body talking to you to say, listen, I have contained this enough. Stop living your life on reruns. You know, you ever seen those movies that they put on replay? Season has ended and now you're watching it on replays. I did this too in my life. Most of us are living our lives on replay. That 12, 13-year-old you, that one person who broke your heart, and you never really put it to bed. And because of that, the archetype of this individual, you keep meeting them in different people. And you say, oh my gosh, I want love. But see, you never stop to really pause and breathe. Let me tell you how simple healing is. Today, I think it was Archangel Michael told a beautiful lady this. She went through the whole healing phase of finding that inner child and the age that she needed to go to, and we worked her through it. And then the angel said, you know what? Every so often when you feel yourself being completely depleted, he had his fear in his hand, and he did this. But this is what I could find. So I did this to her. I said, do this. I said, close your eyes and breathe. Hold on to that bottle and just visualize that you're hugging your inner child. And seriously, just breathe. Whenever you feel like your inner body, like your energy is depleting you. Maybe it's something that just happened, a family member who completely ticked you off. And your body is telling you, you can feel it building inside of you like a volcano is going to explode. Or you just feel, I can't do it today. My body, I just can't do it mentally, physically. I'm done. And it's that inner child just sending a message to you. It's time to play. It's time to play. Go to the beach. Wet your feet in the sand. It's time to play. Go to the park. Stay at home. Dance for 60 seconds. I want play. And all the angel said was this. Do it. And literally just squeeze against your heart. Intentionally. And breathe. I was doing it, and the woman was laughing at me. And I was like, I said, it's for you, honey, but it feels so good. I want to do it too. And the whole time, I had this bottle, because the bottle represented my inner child. And I seriously just felt the love radiating. And then I could remember that playful self that I was. And the reason why the angels want you to get back to your inner child. The inner child, remember, is not distracted by anything that's going on in this world. The relationship that's not going good, the job you're trying to get, these decisions you have to make, the move you want to make but you're not sure if you're supposed to make it, the children that you can't handle, the illness. A 3-year-old does not care. So the angels try to remind us, go back into that inner child and play. Because when you get to that state, your mind is so distracted by the play, it's not thinking about anything else, and you get to listen to your heart. You get to ask your heart any questions, and you reciprocate exactly where you need to go. That's your internal GPS. It's pretty cool, the guidance that comes from ethereal beings, but it's nonchalant. It almost feels as if it's coming without emotions, because when Mother Mary came in, I felt as if I did something wrong, and my mother came in because this is how I went. She straightened my core, and I felt as if I was being reprimanded, like, straighten your back. Stand firm in your truth and your power. Stop shrinking your light. And I was like, this is really for you, the woman across the screen. But it happened to me too. You know why? Because we have always diminished the power of the feminine energy. And that's what's coming through now. Listen, I'm so happy and I'm so pleasurable that some of you are here with me for my first live. I'm going to do it every Saturday, I think, because I did a poll. And I think the poll said Saturday. And I want to make this fun. Don't want to make it too serious. I want to make it open. So whoever wants to come on here, ask questions, can ask questions. I'll answer it to the best of my guide's ability. Most of the things that come out of my mouth when I'm in a session really does not come from my egoic self. But I find that it comes true. Okay, so I'm going to read what's here. I just finished watching one of your videos. Oh my God, I'm happy to catch you live. Thank you. Hi, Nekesha. Also just finished watching a video with TVH. Oh, TNH really did well. It really, I don't know, the angels orchestrated that. And you know what? Lauren did an absolutely beautiful job with those video effects because it actually brought it to life. And the one time that I rewatched it, I had the same frequency as when I was on the other side. Those crystal cities, not quite, but close enough. Close enough. If you can visualize heaven and those crystal cities. However, I didn't get to go there. I only got to see it and perceive it. But the waterfalls and the crystal cities were absolutely amazing. She did an awesome job. She did an absolutely awesome job. And I applaud her for that. And I think the energy that came through that message was the right one to get to the right people for you to understand. Listen, man, straighten your backs. You know what I mean? Straighten your backs and stop feeling as if the world is against you. It's really working for you. And it's not fair for you to live this life and live your life in fear of getting to a death process. Because a death process really is something that's sacred. And, well, it used to be sacred. Now the death process is commercialized. So when somebody dies for you, you don't even get to grieve because you start worrying about how am I going to pay for the funeral. And I've had regressions where I have lifetimes. I don't want to lose anybody. If you've never done a regression, I did one. This is kind of what prompted me to brave up to actually come live and talk about this. It was my regression that I did with Albert Weinman, because when I did that and I went into those memories, every lifetime I had, I made this promise in the lifetime that I'm not going to shut up. I was always a teacher in my lifetimes or somebody who's seeding the earth. And within those lifetimes, I really seriously made this promise on a soul level that when I come back to earth, I am not going to dull my light. And it was so permeant. And since I had that regression with Alba, it just opened up these doors without me knowing they were there to open. And I started to perceive more because I think when I had that regression with her, it kind of cut the cords of fear that was there. And then I just didn't care. And everything just worked out perfectly. My mother, who's Jamaican, who's strict as daylight, finally, the angels helped me to just tell her something. This book, get this book. Because in this book, I made it very simple. And the name sounds religious, but it's not. But the reason I'm showing you this, because it's the guidance from this that allowed me to get my mother, without even knowing it, to say, yeah, man, all right, finally. And it wasn't that I didn't need her validation. I'm an adult. But somehow within me, it was very important for me to explain to her that, listen, I know you're a Christian, no disrespect, because I'm still embracing my not my Christianness, my faithfulness, because I'm not with the paradox of any of those anymore, but I am still with God. And they want you to know, there's somebody here who wants to know this. Just because you now know about God, you didn't abandon God, okay? Just because everyone else who used to sit with you and comfortable and pray with you, because you're talking now about the moreness of God, they want you to know, don't believe you abandoned God because somebody doesn't understand how you perceive God now. Stand in your knowingness, because it's personal between you and this ethereal source of love. I always say, I don't want to use the word God, but it keeps coming in because I was brought up Christian, yeah? But I want you to understand when I say God, I'm talking about source love. I'm talking about infinite love. I'm talking about the source of everything that started, universe. I don't care what name you call it, but there's no way of you containing it or owning it anymore with proof. And if you notice, when you get to this stage and you start to go back to these places, immediately you start to pick up on the convolution that's there. You start to pick up on the judgment, and you can hear somebody giving a message, and you can now all of a sudden see through the embedded fears that were placed there. And you can say, well, that story isn't complete. That really is not true. It's not true to you anymore. So what angels want you to know is don't apologize, because now you are in this knowing this, that listen, God is more and I am one with God. Do you understand? It's not that time anymore. I did this for years because I was too afraid. I said, I can't do this. Are you crazy? Oh my gosh, that's another story. I'm very joyful and happy now, but when I just had my NDE, I was not. I was extremely bitter. I was angry also at the church because I was seeing all these things that really weren't true. They were like illusions. And my angels grounded me really quickly. You didn't have this near-death experience to come back and judge also the people who judged you. You came back to be this container of love, this emitter of light. And the reason why you chose to do this is because right now, in this time, in this world, for the next 5 years, people who are now being the lighthouses, who are really standing up to their feminine energy, men and women who are saying, you know what, I really don't stand with that. I just stand with love. And the reason why you're doing this now is because the Christ consciousness, as they call it, perceive it, it's just love bubble that busted. This consciousness is now more penetrable. And people say the veil is thin, but when I say that, many people don't understand. Is that you are now within this space where you perceive more, because it's like you've experienced everything your soul wanted to experience in the corporate world, in the Christian world, in all these worlds, everything you did as a parent, as a mother, as a millionaire. And now your soul gets a chance to call and say, yeah, but there's more. And you start asking yourself, what is this more? So the most important thing as you go through this phase, don't judge yourself, because we judge ourselves so much. After I went through that phase of feeling the judgment from my family and friends, and I have people who go to church who I told this experience and never spoke to me again. And I felt really bad about it, like, what is this? And when I started to get the dreams, then my daughter just came in and she's trying to show her hand, and do not do that. Thank you. Okay. So when I started to get the dreams, and I realized that the dreams were actually, people call them predictions. Now I call them probabilities, because I understand what they stand for. And I would share them with my family. The first thing that came out of me was my ego. Oh, I'm special. I'm teaching them something that they don't know. And my guides grounded me again. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not here to force anybody to believe anything. You're here still to be a container of this message. Witness it, document it, and tell them how they can change the energy of it. So you get a dream that a tsunami is coming or something else is going to happen. You have the power collectively to pray it off, to pray that the impact is not as bad. And it's not just putting words in the air. With a pure intention from every part of the world that you are. Meditate if you meditate. Pray if you pray. Send intention of love and healing into these spaces. And I saw that happening. And then I realized, oh my gosh, they are just probabilities. Because yes, they're showing us these are the things that can happen. What do you choose to experience? See, it comes back to this. Do you choose to give love or withhold love? So just because something is happening in another country does not mean you turn a blind eye. It's not happening to me, so I don't care. Or something is happening in another country, you don't understand it, but all of a sudden you start to judge and say, yeah, they deserve that. And those one deserves to do that to them. And the angel said, no. Choose love and compassion and understanding, and it starts with you. So the war that you're watching that's happening across the world, first time I used to perceive it, and I used to binge watch the news when the first set of wars went off in Russia and all that other country. And I remember one day Archangel Michael said, what is you binge watching it and crying going to do for these people? What are you doing now as a human being where you stand in your now to stop this war. And I was very confused. What do you mean? He says, you love you. And you be compassionate and kind to the next person you meet. That's the energy that this world needs. And then I started to understand this boots on the ground analogy. That's what they mean. Doesn't mean that you're going to fly to another country and fight a war for them. Absolutely not. It means that you're sending them compassion and love and healing and good wishes of change and peace. But if you're going to sit here and watch the news every day and start taking one side to the other, the war doesn't end. It spreads in pockets and pockets and pockets. The only good thing from the probabilities that I've seen is we don't have a World War III the way that we perceive it. But we have had a World War III for the past couple of years in pockets and pockets, like pockets of cancers all over the place, with this little war here and this uprising here and this problem here and this, so many atrocities happening there with children and this, and everyone is still in their little bubble saying it's not happening to me, so I don't care. So this is why you feel the way you feel, the compassionate ones, the empathic ones that are coming out. And don't cry about it. Pray about it. Intentionally, together with everyone, so you can say, you know what, I am sending energy out in the world. And that's me being boots on the ground for God. Do you understand? Let me see if there's any questions, because I may have to go in a little bit. I just discovered the channel. Can you talk more about how you were introduced to automatic writing? How did that happen exactly? And also, how did channeling happen for you? Oh my gosh. Okay, so let me try to get into this. After my NDE, it was a little bit challenging. I kind of got secluded because I was talking about my experiences talking to my grandmother and the angels. And the dream started immediately after that. And my family was extremely scared. So I would spend hours and hours and hours just sitting and meditating. That's what I did. And I was perceiving these knowingness. I don't call them voices because I just knew from my experience of the NDE, oh, that's Archangel Raphael, that's Archangel Michael. And one day when I was meditating, I had this knowingness, get a pen. And I kept saying to myself, what am I going to get a pen for? I'm going to show you. So I was in meditation. I was sitting upright and I got a pen. And I took a breath and it felt as if something breathed me. And when I say that, it's not anything too scary. It's just like you took a breath and it felt like it took a little longer than usual to flow out of you. That's all. And I was still in my meditative state. And all I did was, what do you want me to know now? And my hand went on the paper and my hand started to write. And when I opened my eyes and I looked and I realized that you are love, we are with you, I dropped the pen. Because that never happened before. And it scared the bejeebies out of me. It's like, what the daylights was that? And I didn't do anything for the whole day. I was like, what did happen? Because I'm coming out of this paradigm that says anything that happens that you can't explain is the devil. So for that whole day, I had a Bible and I prayed because I'm like, okay, I'm probably going in the wrong direction. I need to backtrack. So that night I had a dream and it was my grandmother. And she said, sometimes you have to pick the thorns amongst the roses, and you just have to trust that even if it pricks you, you'll be okay. And then she just did that, a notebook. I got up and I said, I had this dream and I don't remember, and it took me about 2 days to remember the dream. And then I said, that's what she's telling me. So I took up the notebook and I started to write intentionally. Just like meditation, I'll get into a secret space. I cannot do it where my daughter is because she's here now, because she's distracting me. However, I would find a secret space in Jamaica, in New York, wherever I was, and I would get this book. And by now, she would understand. She was much younger then. Get down. She was much younger then, and my family, although I could feel the fear coming out of them because this was new, they understood that that was my time. So I would sit every evening and I would start to write. Just close my eyes and say, what do you want me to know? I didn't say that loud. I just said it within. What do you want me to know? Because I didn't know what this channel writing was. And it would say for probably the first 3 weeks, you are love, we are with you. I was like, that's it. That's I prefer to just meditate and just hear the voices in my head. And there was one day that I got really frustrated. I said, all right, give me the lotto number. I just got annoyed that day and I wrote, can I get the lottery numbers? Because I was like, I'm tapping into something now. I want to know what's going on. And then I met my first guide at that time by the name of Usher. And my hand just started to move. And the introduction is I am Usher. And it says, I'm the angel of, and and it just kept writing and writing. And it was very personal to me. And this angel was telling me about my choice, my incarnation as a soul and what I chose to do. And the angel was saying, just everything just filled with love, and say you chose to have that NDE as not an exit point, meaning that I really didn't plan to die. And it just started to open up. I chose that on a soul level to have an explosive conscious awakening. And this is why these things are happening. Usher explained to me that I'm going to take you through the first phase of your awakening. So I would sit and channel and talk to Usher almost every day and ask questions. And these things were just being revealed to me. And then I would get messages, and my mother would be like, she's going off her mind. She's going, wow, absolute bunkers. And what happened was something that I didn't expect, but I appreciate. My grandmother started to give me messages to tell my mother that nobody else knew except both of them. And then my mother would get agitated at first. How did you know that? Who tell you that? I said, Ty told me. And it took her a while, and then she finally said, you must really talk to Ty then. In Jamaican, it meant you must really be talking to your grandmother then. And she started to subtly but the fear was still there, right? And then she said, it's a very thin line. It's a very thin line. Be very careful because it could be a familiar spirit. But I knew. It wasn't that I had fear. I just knew because it was beyond validation. And what the angels taught me was a familiar spirit will play on the things that they know about you, the things that you fear, the things that you love. And what it does is play on your ego. You're prettier than them, better than them. Yes. How dare they talk to you like that? And it also play on your fear and say, this one is going to die. This time, that one. Angels don't do that. They don't play on your ego. They don't put fear into you. They don't tell you anything that's not of love. And I had a lesson about that further on also, how to determine if the energy is light or dark, but I'll talk about that another time. But that's how I started to do channeled writing. Now, the channeling I did not know I was really doing until a couple months ago, to be honest. Years and years and years into it, I would be meditating, and then I was spontaneously, my mouth would open. I think they were practicing me at the time, just open as if it was exercising, and my body involuntarily would move. And when I did my channel messages, other guides would come in and say, we're practicing your body. You need to start eating this way because you're now going to be a container of this energy. And it kept changing. And it's like they were setting me up for this thing that was to come that I didn't know. So I went through these phases of these things that happened. And I remember when I started to do the channel, that's what they were doing. They were practicing to probably see how balanced I could be to receive the message, or how I could level my consciousness or my frequency. Because remember, we are a conduit. And if I am thinking low vibrational things, or I'm not in a good mood, chances are I won't be connecting with the archangel. Doesn't mean they're not there, but I am not receiving their messages in order to translate what I'm seeing, perceiving, to give out to the world. Do you understand? So about a few months ago, after the Alba Weinman session with that regression, I was okay. I was like, okay, that's out. I want to make that public because I felt the call to do it. And out of the blue, one day, somebody called me from IONS, and they said to me, you know what? We have your NDE featured on our newsletter. I was like, I don't even remember writing that. I don't know how that got there, but I was like, okay, cool. I'm going with the flow. So I paused and I allowed. They invited me to personal meetings, and I went to these sessions with the team, with the members who are there. So you have a whole mix of people, doctors, this, that, people who are interested, who study NDEs, okay? And I was sitting across the screen on my first night, and Archangel Michael just started to speak through me. And when I was done, I didn't know the essence of time. I didn't know what happened. I know that I was somewhere up in the clouds, and I just felt as if I was sleeping. And when I came back, I'm seeing these people on the screen, and then I said, whoa, I don't know what was just said, but I hope it's what you needed to know. because I did not remember. And they got excited, and I was a little bit freaked out, like, whoa, that just happened to me. And when I saw myself, how I was doing these movements, I was more freaked out. Like, why am I moving my hands like that? I didn't understand it. And then I did more meetings with them, and then Gaia came through. And when Mother Earth came through, it was, and then I loved that because she had me in this garden. My memory when Gaia comes through, I'm just in this garden and I'm trying to catch these butterflies, and it's really cool. So I kind of surrendered and got used to it. And then I started to go back in time, like, oh, that's what they were preparing me for when this happened, when that happened. And that's what happened when they told me you need to start eating that, take that out of your diet. You need to learn how to balance, how to feel in your energy body. And then I was like, so the more I surrendered, the more I'll channel. And that's all I can say about the channeling, because it's still new to me. Okay, it's not something like, it's really, really new to me, but it's something to surrender to, in a sense, and to allow and trust, because I trust my guides and I trust the information that's coming through. And so far, everyone else who I sit across from really reciprocates and just receive a whole bubble of love, because that's the time for it now. That's the whole mission. And I promise myself with my guides that if I'm going to bring a message through to the earth, because I'm getting these dreams, and people call me a lot of times to say, oh, I want to hear about the predictions. I'm not interested about talking about the predictions, because the angels have shown me another perspective of what predictions mean. And every time I come, if I'm going to talk about prediction, this is going to happen on this particular date, according to the timeline now, because things shift. And if you continue this way and you don't pray against it, and you don't go together to talk about this or to send energy of love and healing, this hurricane is going to come and this is going to happen. However, when the people die, or when this happens, the angels are going, how is that going to help, really? What that's going to do is pump fear into the universe. And then it actually makes it a really powerful hurricane. I don't want to be a part of that. So instead, I will tell you about the healing that comes from the hurricane, because the angels showed that too. And I will show you about the uprising. If there's an earthquake, I will tell you the perspective that the angel says the earthquake is coming because you are also shifting spiritually. That's my perspective on predictions and probabilities, okay? Okay, what else is there? I was thinking about going to college, but I'm afraid AI is taking over. What courses should I stay away from, or should I just learn to trade? Don't be fearful. Don't be fearful at all. AI is evolving. Technology is evolving. Now, the first time the angels talked to me about AI is, okay, technology is evolving, so why aren't you? So that's what I'll ask you. Why are you afraid to evolve? Why don't you think of, you know what, I'm going to college. I'm taking this course that is true to my heart. Not a course that people say is popular. Something that's true to you, that feels like child play, not work. Child play. Something that feels it comes so easy to your soul. And if it's AI related, deal with it and bring love into it. AI is something that is trainable. Just like there's lightness and there's dark, people are going to use AI for bad, and you equally use AI for good. It is evolving. You evolve with it and train it to have light and love. So don't be fearful about college. Don't be fearful about what courses you're going to take, but make sure that you're heart centered in your choices. You're not going to choose because the family says that. You're choosing a course because it's true to you. It feels like a calling. Okay, so don't be afraid. Take fear out of it, because fear is the only distraction that's going to tell you now, don't go to college or choose this thing that's really not true to you. So take fear out of that. As a matter of fact, don't use the word fear, okay? I'm not very good with fear and hate and sadness and hard, because when you say it, if you should feel what I told you earlier, you would feel the energy depleting from your body, okay? Okay, I just watched your video, Mario Atkins. I just watched your video about NDE and everything you have said. I've also been telling people around me about unconditional love, and that's God's energy and frequency. You better believe it. That's it. Keep doing it, and you will continue to be a lighthouse too. I watched your session with Albert. It was amazing. I had a session with her last year. Ooh! And it has shifted me in many ways. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your presence. I'm a single mom. In the patriarchy, I agreed to this. It sucks. When will it stop sucking? When you stop believing that sucking depends on you. When you stop believing that you deserve sucking. It stops when you take this journey from here to here. And then you start to see that the disappointments and the things that you call a challenge are really preparing you for mastery that you're going to. You will start to see that, oh, this thing that it was a disappointment and I can't believe it was a disappointment. It was so perfect. And you will start to perceive from your heart and say, you know what? It seemed perfect. It appeared perfect. But it really would have totally depleted my spirit, my soul. It really is not for me. But this thing that I'm going into now, yes, I am a single mother, but I chose this because I'm a container of love for this child. I am changing the paradigm of single mothers because I'm standing, Mother Mary says, straighten your backs. You chose this, and the feminine archetype has your back. Don't say, when will it stop sucking? When will you stop believing that you deserve for it to suck? You have to look at it from a different perspective. Send me an email. I'd like to sit in front of the screen with you, just to feel your energy. Okay? Lolala. Is that Lulala? How do you pronounce that? How do we connect with you? It's in my links. My email address is my first name, my last name, Nekesha Burrell @gmail.com. You can use that. Or within my links, there are free consultations there as well as paid sessions. There is none that is less than the other because I give my all in all of them. So if you can't afford, you do it. If you can't afford, it's there. It's right there in my links, okay? So just use it. Hi, Nekesha from Panama City via St. Louis, Missouri. I thank God for you. I thank God for you because you are a mirror of me. The reason why you're sitting there and you're saying, oh my gosh, she's going doing it. I'm glad she's doing it. It's because your soul is telling you, pat your back because they're glad you're doing something too, or they're telling you it's time for you to step out of that comfort zone as well. There's always a message, okay? What would you say about someone who have a disabled sister, believes that her sister is just here suffering? No, she's not. I had a session with somebody who has 2 autistic children. And the angels had the most profound message for her. And I'm just going to tell you without even reading anything to tell you, listen to me, Antoinette. She's not here suffering. She's not even hardly here. But people who we perceive as disabled or special able, I really don't like it. Kids on the spectrum, people who choose, souls who choose to come here less than what we perceive as perfect with the 2 hands working and the 2 feet. The angels told this mother that they are advanced souls who chose to simply tap out of heaven just for a little bit to be a bigger container of love. And the parents and the family that they choose, they don't choose them because they have the answers. They don't choose them because they're rich and they can take care of them. They choose them because they understand that they are also bigger containers of love. So this sister that you have chose your family because she wanted to come here to teach you unconditional love. When the angels told this woman this, I bawled because I had a personal relationship with this. And I'll tell you if you're still going to be here. Because I now have a different perspective on every child who does not, according to society, say is normal. Everybody is normal. No soul is wasted, the angels say. So stop thinking that. Stop thinking, oh, she's suffering. No, she's not. But she's here for you to observe what she's going through, for you to choose, are you going to give love or withhold love? It's all a test of God. It's all a test of time. It's all a test of the mirror of you. Are you going to look on your sister and say, I'm so sorry she can't kick a football. Don't pity her. No matter what you see she's giving. The one thing I want you to understand is this. She came here choosing not to forget what we chose to forget. She knows nothing but unconditional love. If you slap the daylights out of her, excuse my French, I'm saying that because you're Jamaican, or I think you're Jamaican. I don't know why I'm perceiving that. She still comes back loving you. If you're mean to her, she comes back loving you, hugging you, giving you love. Why? I want you to remember this. Everybody who has a family member, friend, or somebody you will perceive and see and think or identify them as disabled. Remember, Nekesha Burrell told you this. They are advanced souls who chose to came here to teach you how to love, how to receive unconditional love. Not love you if you wash the dishes, if you do as I say, if you worship the way I want you to worship, just unconditional love of God. Your sister is a God fractal in your house, giving you the opportunity every day to choose to give love or withhold love. She really is okay in her spirit. The physicality that she represents will show to you because you were perceived from the day you were born that a normal child has 10 fingers and 10 toes and 2 eyes working and they walk upright. And they learn a particular way. And if they don't learn a particular way, they are not functional. And I'm telling you, that's not the way it is seen on the angelic realm. And these beings who come here, anyone who's on here who has children on the spectrum, pause and breathe and try to see between the cracks, try to see in between the limitation that society has placed on these beautiful beings that says, you know what, they don't understand what they're saying. Can I tell you what they do? They feel more than you can ever think of. They understand when they say, Mom, are you okay? And you tell them yes, but they can feel that inside you're not. And their body starts to react to it because they don't understand. Why is she lying? They don't understand. They don't understand how come you love them limited. A child on the spectrum or a child who is disabled according to how you identify them, and I don't like it, they feel more than they hear. And you have to understand that they chose you because they're teaching you how to accept unconditional love, which means it mirrors to you loving yourself first. Every day you look on this sister, Antoinette, love her with her whole being. Don't pity her, but love her with her whole being and be grateful. God, I thank you that you are giving me this lesson of unconditional love. And just be there for her. Be kind for her because she, on a soul level, is doing exactly the job she came here to do. And the people who judge her, don't hate them. Don't judge them because remember, she's incapable of judging and hating. She didn't come here to teach you that lesson. She came here to teach you this is simply how God's love feel. It doesn't matter how you come. God says, meet me exactly where you are. Whether you're in a body that they identify as disabled or a perfect one. Okay? I hope that helped you. What do I miss? What do I miss? Are you open to having phone conversation, developing relationships, friendship, mentorship? Yes, I was talking to a group today who's on me to do this. I'm working on the mentorship, and the reason why I'm working on it because I don't like things that money is attached to. I have to charge. So it's something that I need to think about, and I have to allow my guides to guide me there. But I know I need to do it because every person that I've spoken to so far, except about 2 people who told me they were complete with the answers that came from the angels, still need to have a container or a conduit to talk to every so often. And I want to make it easier for them. So yes, remember I was in the closet, man, for years. I just came out. I didn't come out. I actually took my toe out the closet and spirit kicked me out. So I don't have a closet to go back in. So I'm trying to embrace this with grace and humility, and I need to keep the holiness and the truth to it. I don't want to just keep jumping and say, yes, I'm going to do this, charge that. I don't want that because then it's going to take my intention out of it, which is pure, which is simply just wanting to sit across from somebody and really feel into you and allow your guides to open a doorway for you to start listening to them. I don't want people who are talking to me to be dependent. Oh my gosh, I need to talk to this person to get guidance. My whole mantra is teaching you how to listen to your inner GPS. Do you understand? That's the thing. Why is it too hard to talk about malevolent beings and kids? Why is it hard to talk about malevolent? I don't understand what you mean. Malevolent beings are those of the darkness, the perception of beings or of energies or of things that you experience that is not of love. That's all malevolent beings are. And malevolent beings can come in the construct of a human being, of a spirit, of extraterrestrial, of whatever you're thinking about. But what do you mean by talking about them and kids? Kids see everything. Kids know everything, especially at a certain age. And if you try to put fear mongering into kids, they're always going to talk about the monster in the closet. But if you allow them to understand that they are magic, that they are love, that their light gets so bright that yes, they will see them in the corner, but it can't do anything to them. Because I have to talk to you another time about spirits, human spirits, the ones that don't go to the light and what they do and what they perceive and how to perceive them. I'll talk to you about that because the angels gave me a big lesson on that. But maybe not today, but I'll do it next week, or I'll do a video of it in the week, okay? Something sent me to a live also. I didn't know this was your first live. God sent me. Yeah, and God just, I'm supposed to be baking with my daughter. I finished baking the cake and I didn't get to sit with her at the table to eat her cake. That's why she came in. But I was there and I said to myself, oh my gosh, I want to do a live now. That's what came in. And I had no idea what I was doing. And when I clicked live, it was taking me through this set. I was like, I can't do it. And then I straightened my back because I remember Mother Mary says, straighten your back and get it done. So I did it. And I'm glad I did it because I think that I can help more of you this way. But I have to figure out this apparatus, okay? I don't know if I can invite people on video. I don't know yet. But I'll figure it out. And we'll do it every single week once I'm around, and I will be. And we'll just play, okay, and allow Spirit to come through. Yes, I'm Jamaica. I know you're Jamaican. I just know Anthony. I just knew that. Hi. There is a way to contact you privately. Within my links, there is my email. My email is Nekesha Burrell at gmail.com. And there is a bio link, which the link tree takes you to everything. You can send me a WhatsApp message from my link tree. You can book consultation with me. You have free consultation. You have 30-minute consultation. You have one-on-one. There's none that's less than the other. Everything is equally yoked. I have found that to be. And if I have 15 minutes with you and it goes to 30 minutes, I usually don't care because I allow my guides and your guides to simply come through and bring forward whatever you need, okay? Remember, I'm not a psychic. Don't think I'm a psychic. I'm simply just a container. I just sit in the space and I allow the angels to just bring forward whatever messages you may need in that time, okay? Yeah, sure. You can send me an email, Elaine, Nekesha Burrell at gmail.com. That's fine. Or if you go on my link, there is a link there that sends you directly to my WhatsApp, okay? I've watched so many NDE videos and yours was just so moving. It was moving, but I could have done without the NDE. But I'm happy that I did experience it. And there are many people who are saying, how can I get an NDE? I don't want you to get an NDE. I just want you to be enlightened. Don't ask for an NDE. Because when you come back, people judge the daylights out of you. And they want to check you into a psychiatric ward, okay? I had to stand firm, run away from Jamaica, literally, come to the US, be dormant into a space for months without my family, just to get to connect to my guys to understand that I wasn't actually going crazy. So don't ask for an NDE. Just ask for enlightenment. And the last time I had a client who asked for enlightenment, you know what her angel said to her? Lighten up. It simply means stop taking everything so hard. You know what I mean? If you can't get to me, if you want a book or if you want to gift somebody a book, get this book, not for me, but because everyone that's got me so far, including Christian people, yeah, including people who are very religious, somehow I think the way the messages are coined here, and I coined it in the sense of a journal because I want you to reflect on your life now, because that's what my guides brought me through. And I want you to get it because it's a very easy read, but it gives you a different perspective, my perspective, the angel perspective of where you're going now, taking the religion out of it and just understanding that God is everything, everyone, everywhere. And the name should not be convoluted. That's why they had me use the name. I wanted to name it Boots on the Ground, but they wanted me to add the name God to it because I remember Archangel Michael said the word God is convoluted. And they want to take the convolution out of God, that when somebody says the word God, the ears stand up in the other person who's receiving the message because they all of a sudden think, I'm going to be judged, or they want to know what denomination are you coming from because they immediately are ready to judge you to say, that's not the right place. You need to come to my place because everyone is trying to contain the Godness within a room. And we're breaking those walls down now with the things that we're saying and the love that we're giving out. Do you understand? Okay. Thank you for sharing your soul with the world. Yeah, my soul is so your soul. We are so connected. You have no idea. Elaine, the first time I meditated, I went through the tunnel and into the list. I listened to you and the sound. Okay, I can give you a joke. I have a family member that I helped to meditate the other day. I don't think he's going to do it with me again. So I said to him, what's your intention? What do you want to do when you meditate? I hope he doesn't watch this video. So he said, okay, I want to go to Egypt. And I was like, why do you want to go? I want to go to Egypt and Africa. And he said he wants to meet these ancient people and he wants to talk to Pharaoh. I was like, why do you want to talk to Pharaoh? So I have meditations that I do for myself. I'm going to share them probably next week. I'm going to start sharing them publicly where you get my meditations free. Okay. So anyway, I said to him, okay, listen to the meditation and listen to my voice, but not the voice, feel into the frequency that's coming. I noticed 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, I didn't hear anything from him. I said to him, I just sent him a message. I said, how was the medication? Listen to me. He's Jamaican, right? Me no want to hear nothing about meditation. So he was upset. He was like, I don't want to hear about meditation. Your meditation had me licking up in trees the whole night. So I love your idea. He said, I didn't understand how to do it. And the angel brought him and he was in the air, but he said he was going over somewhere like the Sahara Desert. And he said he was coughing. He kept feeling as if he couldn't breathe. So he said to the angels, take me low. So he said the whole night while he was doing the meditation, he kept hitting up in trees. I don't want to do no meditation anymore. I can't manage the flying. So it was really funny to me because if you don't understand what you're doing, these things can happen to you because it's what you perceive. His only thing of meditation wasn't true and holy. He just wanted to go to Egypt and Africa to meet with these people to ask these ridiculous questions, right? So that was pretty funny to me, the fact that I just read that. What would you say to someone? Okay, I read that already. I've watched that. I read that already. First time I meditated that. Yeah, that's the one that ushered the jerk. Thank you for your light. I've watched many NDEs. You're so outstanding. You grabbed me from speaking extraordinary. You know, every time I talk about that NDE, it takes me right back there. And it's as real today as it was when it happened. And it's pretty amazing. And when I just came back, I wanted everybody to have an NDE because I wanted them to feel the rush that I felt because it gives you so much love and it allows you to see the expansiveness of everything. It also allows you to see how much you limit yourself in a space where you are limitless. But also, if you're not careful, it has you kind of judging other people because you start to see people who are depleting themselves for the silliest things. And you want to just shake them out of it to say, okay, listen, it's happening through you, not to you. Don't take it so hard. Listen, that person you don't need to settle. Really, don't you see the signs you need to go? So it's like it's a weight that comes on you. And especially when you start to get the dreams of the probabilities and you see them happening. And that bothered me a lot for the first 6 months because I was angry with the angels because I kept saying, why am I getting these dreams? I can't do anything about it. Why am I getting these dreams? And at the time I had 300 and something people on my YouTube channel because I wasn't doing videos. And I said, why am I getting these dreams? I can't do anything. I can't help these people. So many people died. And they took me through this whole circus again to say, yes, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been. Because you spoke about it, just the small few who knew prayed about it. And the energy that came from that, plus all the other lighthouses that we sent these predictions to, it dulled. You made a choice. No, I don't want this earthquake, this hurricane, that volcano, the one in Hawaii. I don't want it to be that bad. And you, humanity, collectively made a choice. Do you understand? So it was kind of challenging for me to understand why these things are happening. It's not for fear mongering. People who do fear mongering, I can't judge them, but I choose not to because I see in between the cracks the healing that can happen from an earthquake. I saw a tsunami a few months ago, and I got the exact number for the earthquake, 7.2, 6.7, earthquake in the sea, but not just earthquake in the sea. I saw the fire coming from the sea, and I couldn't understand, I said, why is fire coming from the sea? And then there was a tsunami. And then when I looked in my dreams, when I know it's a probability, there's always a TV screen in my dreams. And I try to always look on the TV screen of a news report, and I always try to see where it is. So sometimes I'll see a map and say, oh, it's somewhere in Asia, Eastern Asia, or I'll be able to see the date and the time, and I can know where it's going to happen, possibly the date, right? And I always said, what am I going to do with it? But what happened is, in this particular dream I had months ago, the tsunami happened, and I came there after the tsunami. So you could see the sea, there was no water there. And there were this big, I don't know if they're sharks. I think they were sharks, but they were as big as whales. So I thought it was whales, but then I realized it's sharks. And the people who were there were saying, they were amused, taking pictures like, oh my gosh, I thought these creatures were extinct. And it was amusing. But the angels took my attention from that, and they showed me, and they said, look. And they wanted me to look at the microorganisms. I saw this little, in Jamaica, we have these little, if you're on here, Antoinette, I don't remember the name, like these little caterpillars. And I used to be afraid of them. I think they were yellow or something. And they had a lot of hairs on them, like spurs. And I saw very small, minute, like caterpillar. But they were very small, as if you can't see them with the naked eye. And the angel just showed me, look, within the microorganisms, that is cure for cancer. Every earthquake that comes, every uprising, everything that the elements unearths brings healing, brings change, brings transformation. And then I realized, oh my gosh, it's bigger than just what we're perceiving to say, oh, this is going to happen. Fear mongering, fear. No, it's a bigger picture. It's a different perspective. Do you understand? So that's how I look at it. I don't meditate as much now. Before, when I say I don't meditate as much now, before I used to be meditating for 1 hour, 2 hours a day. Now I simply connect, and it's not anything special about me. It's just that now I don't have doubts about my connection with the angels or anything, or my guides. But in the morning, or sometimes when I'm having sessions, I really do sit and reflect for a few minutes before every single session. And I call in my guides, not calling them as if they're anywhere, but I make the awareness. And the only thing I need to know about the person is their name, their first name. So example, if your name is Ron, I call in my angels, guides, ancestors, and it's always of the light. It's always with intention. And I ask you to bring forward only that is true and holy for Sarah, for Ron, for whoever this person is. And I ask you to open the conduit for her guides to bring for her exactly what she needs for healing, for truth, for self-love, whatever it is that she needs. And I do that. I just sit with it and I feel into it. And by the time it opens up and I'm looking at the person, I'm visually starting to see. Sometimes I start to see something, and by the time I say it, she laughed and she said, oh my gosh, I said that I wanted to hear that. So it's amazing what happens when somebody's sitting across a screen to you and you realize you're connected by energy. Do you know what I mean? So meditation is something that it's personal to you. Sit with yourself. Some people have a busy body. They have to have music. I'm a Mozart girl or Beethoven, so I used to listen to those all day. And it keeps me in a meditative state. And I'll sleep with it. And when I sleep, I have really cool dreams with those type of, because of the frequency, not much of the music. It's the frequency of it that keeps you in this type of theta state. You know what I mean? But if you're just starting to meditate, just sit with it. Just sit with yourself and allow your energy body. Sometimes you might feel your body voluntarily moving without you ushering it in. Try not to be fearful. Because if you're fearful, your guides won't force anything on you, because the last thing they want you to do is to feed on fear. If you're fearful, you won't be perceiving the connection of your loved ones or of your guides around you, because the fear is a block that goes up and they do not want to add on to that fear. Fear has nothing to do with the light. Fear has to do with distraction that says, I don't want her to remember. I don't want her to know her power. So I'm going to put this thing up, this thing that fell off the wall, the light that started flickering, and immediately in your mind, which you had this imprint to say, anything that you don't understand is of the devil. That archetype comes up and you become fearful. So it's simple practice, but just doing what feels true to you. For me, I had to close my eyes because I couldn't look at everything. So I closed my eyes and I found I did the four. I inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I exhale longer. And sometimes you feel more intense when you exhale through your mouth. Sometimes you don't. Do what works for you. And that's all you really have to do. If music helps you, use the music. There are beautiful people out there who have some really cool meditations where it's guided meditation. Some people prefer that because it takes you into this altered state where you literally start to visualize where they're taking you on this beach, across this river, on this boat. And it helps you maybe not to meet your guides immediately, but it allows your body to start getting used to be outside of the physicality. Do you understand? So practice. I do. I use divination at all time. You have to, and your intuitive self has to always be heightened. And one thing I've noticed, every single person I spoke to today, the message that came in is this: why are you dulling your light? And when they say, when I see the hands go out like this, I understand what their meaning is. You have to extend your light, and extend your light don't mean putting a light bulb on. It means your awareness of knowing that you're not alone and you're covered. If you're from the Christian or religious archetype, you're covered in the blood of God, you're covered in the light of the world, of Muhammad or whoever it is. I don't know what your archetype is, but you're covered into something that's more than you, because you are more. You are spirit, you are light first, and your spirit is simply having an experience in this body. And as soon as we start to do that and connect, then our body literally starts speaking to us. I have stories where my grandmother dreamed me last year, January, and saved me from a cancer scare. I didn't know I had cancer festering in me. I have to talk about that another time. So these things will start happening to you and you start to perceive them. And you get to laugh sometimes to say, Spirit, you're bad. And when I say spirit, I don't mean bad. I mean just your guides, your loved ones who are here giving you support. And because you're so busy and fearful, you don't get to perceive it. Listen, I have to go. This was beautiful. 1 hour and 32 minutes. The reason why I went this fast, because I did not know I could go so fast so long and alive. Which means we have a lot of things to talk about every week. I just have to figure out how to properly do this and read your messages while I'm doing a live. GJ booked with you and I'm looking forward to it. Ooh, Jillian, girl, I can't wait too. I can't wait to meet all of you across this screen, because it's showing me a mirror of myself. Today, Mary Magdalene, which I did not expect to come through because she's not an angel. However, Mary Magdalene is equally yoked with Yeshua. And when she came through today, for this person who revealed to me after the session, after the channeling that came through for her, she said to me before the session, she asked her guides, please, if anyone comes through, I'd like to talk to Mary Magdalene. And I want to know about the feminine energy and what it means to me. And I didn't know this. And when Mary Magdalene came through, I was very doubtful, like, why is Mary Magdalene here? And again, that's from the thought construct that told me that this woman is less than. But she came through with a powerful message today for women, for the feminine energy, and for this beautiful being who was sitting in front of me. And basically, she's just saying she's equally yoked with Yeshua. So while she was there, Yeshua's presence was always there, also there. The only thing that was heavy is she allowed me to feel during her time how much women, especially women, were placed under this rug as if they were nothing. And Yeshua, Jesus, did not stand for it. And that is why what happened, most of that happened because he was standing for unity. He was standing for oneness. He was standing for love. And they did not love it. And I'm not going to say everything that Mary Magdalene said because, I need to dissect it myself too. I need to soak it. She gave information. She gave places. She gave locations. And I'm like, wow. So when I sit across from you, I also learn, because it depends on what you need for your own soul growth now. and I get to learn from it. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Oh, you're still hi, Mary. So you're Mary and Archangel Azrael. That's pretty cool. Well, there are people in this live right now that you could probably help. Could you? Anyway, I am going to go. Why? Because I've been here for all this time and I hope I've answered all the questions you had so far. And I'll see you next week on Saturday. I will do it more structured where I will announce, let's say, 1 hour before or half an hour before, so you have time to log on to get the information, okay? All right. I absolutely love everybody. Peace and love to you. Remember, you are the light. It doesn't mean that anything that you're going through right now is happening to diminish you. It's happening for you to witness, look what I can overcome. And these beautiful Persian rugs that you have spread over old trauma, old pain, old shame, these things that happened to you in childhood that you don't want to face. The angels are unearthing them through you now. Your body is literally festering and pushing it out of you now. What are you going to do with it? Your body does not want this negative energy within you now. You're going to have to cry, scream it out, face it. But either way, you have to tap into you, taking this journey from your mind that's so busy with all the constructs that don't serve you much more, and taking the journey to your heart, where you love you, where you get to remember, I am so much more than what they told me. And I am going to become more than what they can even imagine. And nothing's going to stop me. And then you open the door. We have to talk about money too. Ooh, today we had some nuggets about money, how you perceive money, and abundance. So there's so much for you to unpack, but take your time. Only thing I want you to take away from this is no matter what you go through today, the rest of the weekend, and next week, pause, breathe, pause, and allow. Okay? And just understand that life is happening because you're here to experience it. And it really isn't telling you, I have to struggle through this life. I have to wait to die. Death is an absolute sure thing. But during the death process, things that you will experience going through that is from the choices you make now. Do I choose to give love? Do I choose to withhold it? It's a big denominator. It really is the only law to follow. Am I giving love? Am I withholding love? That's it. Okay? Bye, y'all. Peace and love.